There are few things more unsettling in a person's life than losing a spouse, but imagine if that also resulted in losing the house where you lived for years. It's a nightmare scenario that lawyers are seeing as the foreclosure crisis drags on. Jacob Inwald runs one of the country's largest nonprofit foreclosure defense offices.
The banks are under a legal obligation to attempt to avoid foreclosures and promote loan modifications, but it's a huge challenge to get them to do that.
Legal Services NYC deals with all kinds of foreclosure cases, but among the most distressing are ones where banks refuse to modify an underwater mortgage because a husband died without listing his surviving wife or child on the note. The bank's argument is a classic catch-22.
We're not going to talk to you about a modification until you assume the mortgage, and to assume the mortgage, you have to pay off everything we claim is due, and that defeats the whole purpose of a modification.
If you find yourself in this sort of predicament, Inwald says that it's important to have legal representation as early on as possible.
There are legal defenses that can be lost if they are not preserved right at the beginning of a case.
In New York State, the first step in a foreclosure proceeding is a settlement conference. In one case handled by LSNYC, the court-appointed hearing officer found that the Wells Fargo bank ran roughshod over a widow's rights, and that the bank violated the spirit of federal law which was enacted to protect widows. In a statement to Lawyers.com, Wells Fargo replied that, quote, "We strive to determine all applicable options for individuals facing financial difficulties. We have been unable to find an option that would help her avoid foreclosure and allow her to remain in the home." Wells Fargo is by no means the only bank that has been accused of abuses during the foreclosure crisis, but good legal representation can often defend against those abuses. For those who don't qualify for free legal help or can't afford a lawyer, Inwald suggests seek housing counseling help or look for courthouse clinics. And whatever you do, avoid loan modification scammers who ask for money up front. And one more thing.
Don't accept at face value what your mortgage servicer tells you, and just because a mortgage servicer tells you that you are ineligible for a loan modification for any reason doesn't necessarily mean that that is accurate or true.
Even though the economy and housing markets seem to be improving, Inwald says we're only about halfway through the foreclosure crisis. In New York City, this is Ed Alpern for the Lawyers.com channel.